Day after day, year after year, every day we get one day closer to our departure from this place. Of that we can be certain. God has graciously granted me 74 rotations of the sun, or more than 27,000 beautiful sunrises and glorious sunsets that showcase His glory. But I know that the day of my departure is nearer than ever before. As Paul would say, and do this, understanding the present time. The hour has already come for you to wake up from your slumber, because our salvation is nearer now than when we first believed. It's not being morbid, it's the truth for each one of us. We share the same fate as every one of the estimated 100 billion humans who have lived on this planet. There is, in fact, a 100% mortality rate. I know that I'm not promised 1 year or even one more sunrise. And 150,000 people will leave this life today, and then again tomorrow, and the day after. Jesus said that we cannot add even a single hour to our lives in Matthew 7, and in James 4, James describes our life as a vapor that appears today and then vanishes away. And yet in many ways, Christians live as though we will live here forever. And just as is true of my personal life, it's also true of the world around us. We can look all around us and see signs of distress and signs of the end times with more and more frequency and severity. Wars, rumors of wars, famines, earthquakes, pestilence from Matthew 24 says will increase in intensity and frequency. As Christians, we have no assurance, no confidence as to whether our world or our society will last that long, and certainly that's all God's sovereign, perfect timing. Is our passing from this place to the next at the age of 100 or 100 hours from now? Is Jesus' return be 20,000 years after His death on the cross, or later today? Only God knows when He will call us home to be with Him, or when He will send Jesus to bring His church home to be with Him in heaven. While we can have confidence in God's mercy and His forgiveness to all those who called upon His name, there is no such promise to the unsaved. They live among us. They work alongside us. They go to our schools. They live in our neighborhoods. Indeed, they may be at our family dinner table tonight. Sadly, their futures are not so bright. Like us, they are time limited in the flesh, and they face the same natural death that we do. But then they face a very different future. A sure judgment by a holy, righteous God at the great white throne of judgment, and eternal separation from Him. As described in Revelation 20, this is a lake of burning sulfur where there will be tormented day and night forever and ever. There is no greater separation, no greater distance in all of God's creation than the gap, the distance between the saved and the unsaved, both here on earth and certainly the separation for eternity after passing from this life. So why are Christians, you and me, not more diligent, not more dedicated to bringing others with us to our eternal home? Why don't we throw everything else aside and get about the business of evangelization, of telling others about God's amazing mercy, about His amazing grace? As Charles Spurgeon would say, if sinners be damned, at least let them leap to hell over our dead bodies, and if they perish, let them perish with our arms wrapped about their knees, imploring them to stay. And if heaven must be filled, let it be filled in the teeth of our exertions, and let no one go unwarned and unprayed for. So why is the church, why are Christians, you and me, not more diligent, not more dedicated to bringing others with us to heaven? There are many reasons we don't tell others about Jesus, but here are 5 to consider. First, there's a fear of rejection. We don't want to be rejected by our family or friends, called a religious freak or religious radical, or just be shunned by a family member for whom your only desire is to see them saved. Bringing up Jesus, even at a Thanksgiving meal or Christmas get-together, might cause awkward moments or strained relationships. 2, the world will try to intimidate you and me to keep our faith private. Growing up, I remember being told, you shouldn't bring up politics or religion in normal conversation. 3, there's always tomorrow. We have another opportunity to talk to them about Jesus tomorrow, right? We have a natural disposition to postpone to tomorrow what we should be doing today. For many Christians seem to believe that living life abundantly means that we're living on a cruise ship. We're adopted a cruise ship mentality filled with health and prosperity. If our highest goal in life is to live life comfortably, to the fullest, with the most blessings, the biggest house, the nicest car, then we have succumbed to the world's values. And 5, perhaps most damning, Christians live as though their eternity is unimportant to us. I've got better things to do. So what does all this have to do with evangelism, about knowing the times or knowing the hour? All these factors lead us to forget that we are, in fact, in a spiritual warfare with an enemy that prowls about like a lion, seeking whom he can destroy. Rather than having a cruise ship mentality, perhaps we ought to consider our purpose in life, our spiritual journey, more like that of a battleship, primed and ready for battle. We are, in fact, in a spiritual battle where the world system will do everything it can to destroy, or at least delay our witness to the lost. The world offers the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life, not a life voyage where we sit by, enjoy the comfort of a cruise ship, and watch those we care for head off to a dangerous future, dangerous eternity. Perhaps that's why Paul tells us to gird ourselves about with spiritual armor, to be prepared to fight in this battle. I think that many Christians, myself included, forget our purpose in life and live as if we have endless time and endless opportunities to tell others about Jesus and be obedient to the Great Commission. We may not have another opportunity to tell our coworker about Jesus, about his mercy and his grace. What if we get news tomorrow of a friend or family member, coworker who has unexpectedly passed away? Consider the comments of the famous magician and atheist Penn Jillette. As he notes, if Christianity is really true, why does not every Christian tell others about Jesus? Or as he succinctly says, how much do you have to hate someone to believe everlasting life is possible and not tell them about it?
How much do you have to hate somebody to not proselytize? How much do you have to hate somebody to believe that everlasting life is possible and not tell them that? I mean, if I believed beyond a shadow of a doubt that a truck was coming at you and you didn't believe it, that truck was bearing down on you, there's a certain point where I tackle you. And this is more important than that.
It is a fate we should not wish upon our worst enemies, even those who have done harm to us, much less those we love and care for. I have to ask myself this question: can I take the chance that I will have another opportunity to share Jesus with this person in front of me, with someone that I love or care for? So here's a call to action for you and for me. 1, ask God to show you where and to whom He might be leading you to share the good news. Don't let the world and its distractions stand in your way of telling others about Jesus. 2, remember that just as you are praying for someone you love, that person in front of you, that coworker, that stranger even, likely is someone that's praying for him or her as well. And that God might have placed you right in front of them now, just because of those prayers and just for that purpose. God cares about that person's soul, and that their eternity is important to God, and therefore it must be to us as well. 3, commit to saying, like Isaiah, "Here I am, Lord, send me." 4, and then don't wait. Go, just go. You may not have tomorrow. They might not have tomorrow. Ask your coworker, your family member, tell me about your spiritual beliefs or your church background, and use their response as a springboard to tell them about Jesus. 5, consider joining or connecting with us at Evangelize RVA. We're a small group of Christians from different churches around the Richmond area who have a passion to tell others about Jesus. We're certainly not the only folks doing personal evangelism in our community, but we're one group trying to tell others about the good news. And click on our website, evangelizerva.org, or contact us at evangelizerva@gmail.com. And check out these other videos on this channel as well that might be of interest to you. Oh, and hit the like and subscribe button too. It is important that you commit to going, to being obedient to God's leading into the Great Commission. He will lead you to the most important business of sharing Jesus, His Son, to the lost in our city. There's no greater joy in this life than to be about God's business, to be in His perfect will. And we'll see you in the next video.